noticed that any time a Democrat loses a competition, their media spins some sort of a conspiracy theory to explain it? Yet, when they win, like in 2018, everything's a-okay. This is obviously a sort of propaganda tactic to deflect blame and cast their political opposition in the worst possible light. Except in this case, it's their own voter base that they're attacking. After Warren's poor performance on Super Tuesday, Don Lemon and his far-left panel of intersectional feminists blasted their own voters as sexist for not supporting any of the female Democrat candidates. Surprise, surprise, they don't take any responsibility for anything and instead unleash their most favorite tactic of machine-getting labels at their detractors.
Now, Elizabeth Warren, it's fascinating because she had the ground game that everybody envied. The fact that this ground game did not turn out votes for her, there's going to be a lot of digging as to why that didn't happen, whether it's sexism.
When it comes to executive office, our country is still very uncomfortable with women in power. We don't care if we like male candidates or not. Men come into a race with the expectation that they're qualified. Women have to prove themselves.
Okay, there's a lot of bullshit to shovel here, so let me just take these baseless claims one by one. First, all of these women claim that sexism is the most likely reason for Warren's poor performance because she had such an allegedly amazing ground game. Gee, perhaps they only saw it that way because they're clearly biased in favor of the female candidates. Frankly, I haven't followed her campaign closely enough to argue one way or the other about the quality of her ground game, but her performance when it counted just wasn't good enough. And we have a pretty good idea that it had nothing to do with sexism because the two women that were still in the race did better than two of the male candidates. And I'm sorry, but if Democrat voters are worried that a woman can't beat Trump, you have only your propaganda media to blame for putting out the narrative that they'll do anything it takes to beat Trump. Notice they don't present a single shred of evidence to back up their sexism charge, instead just lobbing out a bunch of baseless claims of double standards that just aren't supported by reality. We'll get right back to exposing this latest media con job, but first I have an important message for all my viewers. Stephen King once wrote, "Panic is highly contagious, especially in situations where nothing is known and everything is in flux. The world we live in today is in flux, filled with a flood of information that's often as much gossip as fact, making it hard to know what the real situation is, making it easy for people to panic and make bad decisions. The only way not to get caught up in that chaos is to have a plan allowing you to avoid dealing with empty store shelves, long lines, and in the worst case, desperate people. Use today to prepare. A great place to start is storing food in your home. I'm prepared and I ordered even more recently. Experts at My Patriot Supply have told me that orders have now reached about 100 times their volume, and they're shipping on a first-come, first-served basis. With this unprecedented emergency, orders are being delayed, sometimes 8 weeks or more. I urge you to add your order to mine today. Take action so you're ready for what's coming and save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithdronetek.com. Those that know what's coming are preparing today. Go to preparewithdronetek.com. That's preparewithdronetek.com. Men don't have to constantly credential themselves to prove their electability? Of course they do. Trump was constantly defending himself against charges that he was just a reality show host that had no business in the White House. Biden's constantly telling goofy stories to prove his electability to black people, or using a bad Southern accent to prove his electability with Southerners.
If Democrats nominate me, I believe we can beat Donald Trump.
I don't know what's funnier there, his fake Southern accent or the ridiculous applause afterwards. One of the feminists on the panel claims that we don't have to care whether we like a male candidate or not. What are they basing this lie on? Are they telling me that everybody in the Democrat Party loved Hillary Clinton? Or did they just vote for her against Trump? Go back and look. There were tons of articles about Hillary's lack of likability, and yet you all still voted for her. Meaning, you didn't have to care if you liked the female candidate or not. How about this for double standards? Would a white male candidate get away with falsely claiming to be a Native American? I'm constantly amazed by the fact that the media, the Democrat Party, or Warren supporters don't seem to care that she lied about being a Native American. When I asked Warren supporters about this at the CNN Democrat debates, they couldn't have cared less. last question, and this will be my kind of triggering question, but what do you think about Elizabeth Warren? It kind of just went away, but the fact that she claimed to be Native American, it turned out she wasn't.
Well, she went and got tested. She thought she was, based on what family members told her. And then when she got tested and found out she wasn't, she owned up and said, that, you know, I was wrong.
A little bit later she did. At first she didn't, but a little bit later she did.
All right, well, I'm not going to split hairs with you. I think the reality is when she found out that it wasn't part of her direct heritage, she acknowledged it.
Do you think that if a Republican had done that, they'd have gotten off as easily? Even if they'd have come out and been like, I'm sorry?
Yes.
You think so? Okay. How do you guys feel about her claiming to be Native American?
Well, I mean, I think it's been proven she does have some.
Well, it actually turned out she has less than the average American.
Yeah.
So it's actually.
That issue really doesn't bother me.
Okay. Nobody else could get away with that. And honestly, I think part of that is the fact that it was Trump who called her out on it. At the time, the DNC media blasted Trump for calling Warren out and circled the wagons around her even after her test came out and proved that she wasn't Native American. My guess is that Warren's going to be dropping out soon because she's an intensively unlikable socialist who sounds like she's going to cry every time she opens her mouth. That's all I have for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps this channel. If you enjoy my content and you want to support my mission, please consider subscribing to me on Patreon, Subscribestar, or just sending a donation on PayPal. You can find all the links in the description and pinned comment. Thanks for watching. Keep coming back.